our webinar for this afternoon. We're going to tackle about, the usual mental health as we just celebrated World Mental Health Day last October 10. So I'm really glad that a lot of people registered and came in today because actually there is a research from McKinsey last 2022 that employees in Asia actually one in three employees in Asia experience the symptoms of burnout. So here at Quintegral, we know that this is also a huge factor in productivity of everyone in the workplace. So that's why we made this free webinar happen for all of the employees, for all of the people who are experiencing types of burnout, stress that affects a lot in our productivity every day in the workplace or even at home. So yeah, without further ado, I will be now calling our speaker, our mindfulness expert from Quintigral, Mr. Dax Covarrubias.
Good. Thank you, Ali. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining our learning series. Excited to be here. It is going to be a very quick 1 hour theme. So I'm very much excited because we are going to show you something because this month is Mental Health Month, and we're going to talk about how to thrive mindfully, cultivating mental wellness at work. And if you look at it, participants, Ali was talking about stress. And what we're going to do is, in this session, instead of stress going against us or having a negative effect on us, what can we do in this next hour so that we can allow stress to work with us instead? So I'd like to introduce myself again. My name is Dax Covarrubias. I'm a consultant for Quintigram. I also design and specialize programs on mindfulness, mindful leadership, emotional intelligence. I've been doing this work for more than 8 years. 6 years, I've been an action learning and Gallup strengths coach, and also team in the wellness industry. I've been part of it for 13 years as a yoga and meditation teacher. And before that, I was also teaching university for 10 years in De La Salle. Now, what we will do today, before we get started, team, I just wanted to check, because we're going to use Zoom today. Let's use our Zoom tools because we're going to be using it a lot in this 1 hour. So let's start with a chat box, team. And we have a chat box question, Ali, right? So team, please type on the chat, which company are you from? And also, what did you have for lunch? All right. Okay, so let's find out, team. So please type it there on the chat box, your company, and also what did you have for lunch? And Ali, palagay yun, can you put our chat box question? Okay, thank you. Jess, awesome. So let's see, team. So me, I'm from Quintiga. I haven't had lunch yet. I will have a late lunch after this program. So just coffee for me. What about the rest? We will know because we have a lot of Quintiga partners here. Also partners from Trainokate. Okay, so yeah, so my friends also from BSP. Okay, so pancit. I see quinoa and fried fish. Oh, people from Sun Life also. I see fruits for lunch. Okay, sea oil. Okay, Ayu from Sea Oil, chicken barbecue. Okay, Monheim also from Claire, fried chicken. BSP again from Erickson. Okay, so we're the same with Erickson, not taking lunch yet. Okay, we have our friends also from UNP. Oh, Ada, hello. Kamusta? Okay, nice to see you here. Okay, so Ada, I think this is new material also for you. Okay, hello. All right, so I see our friends from their different companies, and nice to know that most of you had your lunch nap. Okay, so team, we're going to be very active here in our chat box. So all your responses will be there. And if you have any questions at any time, please type it there on chat, and then we will address it at the appropriate time. Now, if you want your questions anonymous, please send it to my partners, Jessica or Ali, where you see the Contigal name over there. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let us continue, team. Now, also, let's look at our reaction button. So I'd like to find out now, team, please choose a reaction button that best describes how you are feeling right now 3:38 p.m. Wednesday afternoon. Is it a harp? Okay, smiley face, celebration. Is it an applause? Let's check your general mood today, everyone. Okay. Thank you, thank you. All right. Okay, and this is also will be our way to show our appreciation. We might be hearing from some friends and colleagues later on. So if you like what they shared, or if you like the questions that they asked to the team, you can show your appreciation with the reaction button. And also, if at any point you would like to volunteer and have a question, please click the raise hands and ask us questions. Okay. Now also for audio. So let's check our audio, everyone. On a count of three, let's all wish everyone good afternoon, happy Wednesday. 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, happy Wednesday, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Happy
Good
Wednesday. Happy
afternoon.
Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, everyone.
All right, thank you, thank you. Okay, and then video, optional. You do not have to turn it on. Okay, so let us begin, team. Let us get started here. So what we will do, is the newest form of mindfulness, which is mindfulness-based attention training. Now, the previous form of mindfulness, the previous practice, the most popular one is called mindfulness-based stress reduction. Okay, so it's about relaxation, calmness, which is great. So what we will do now, team, is if that works for you, then let's add another layer to it, which is mindfulness-based attention training, because there are a lot of people who enjoy stress, that they do not want to reduce their stress, but they enjoy stress and they want to use stress to work for them. So what we will do in mindfulness-based attention training, or we call it MBAT, it's designed to elevate the performance of high demand and time pressured individuals. So in this book, it's called Peak Mind by Dr. Amishi Jha. This came out in 2021. Who were her subjects? She followed these subjects for 5 years. Soldiers in Iraq, the doctors in the busiest emergency room in Chicago, and also high demand, time pressured individuals like you. And if you look at the name, team, we're going to divide into 2 parts. So attention and mindfulness. So attention, our definition for attention today is this: the act or power of fixing your mind on something. While mindfulness is your ability to be fully present when it matters most. So let's get started, team, with our chat box. So here are 3 benefits of MBAT, or mindfulness-based attention training. Which of these benefits, if you were to choose one, would you like are most important to you? Is it A, to make you sharper and more effective? Is it B, to help you stay present and not reactive? Or is it C, to build awareness of your mind, of others, and your immediate environment? Okay, so go ahead, participants, choose one letter. Which of these are most important to you? And let's see. Okay, so I notice, so I see C's and A's. I also see some B's. And it looks like, so far what I'm seeing, it looks like C is leading with a few B's and a number of A's. Okay, so keep that in mind, team, because that will be your anchor as we go through the day. And I can assure you now, as we go through it, that we are going to touch on each of the benefits as we do this next hour. All right. Now, the thing that happens, team, is that because of since our goal is to have these benefits, it's also something that we need to constantly work on and be vigilant, because constantly our attention breaks down. And one type of attention breakdown is what we call hijacked attention. So what I'm going to show you, team, are signs that you are getting hijacked. Okay, so here are the signs, team, that you know that your attention is getting hijacked. It happens when A, you get overwhelmed by strong emotions that dictate what you do. It happens when B, you display aggressive or evasive behavior, or fight or flight behavior during an interaction. Or C, you make disproportionate reactions to common situations. So team, my question now is this: which of these letters did you experience in the past 7 days? And you can select all that apply. Is it A, B, C, a combination of the two, or all three. So just type the letters there. Okay. So earlier I noticed C was the top answer. Now it looks like based on your answers, it's a mix of C's and A's, some B's, but looks like C again is okay. C looks like again the most popular answer here. Okay, then a combo. I see A's and B's and A's and C's. Okay, thank you, team. Oh, by the way, I know this session is recorded, but if at any point, participants, if you find any of the slides resonate with you that you like to get a copy of, feel free to take pictures of the deck. Okay, all right. Now here are forces, team. So we know that here are signs that our attention is hijacked, but here are usually the forces that hijack our attention. Okay, now one is threat. It's either real threat or perceived threat. And threat does not just include danger. Threat also includes maybe the inability to pay your bills, diba? The inability to get on time. Maybe there's also a possibility that, let's say, for example, you might lose your job or an impact on your job or your finances. That is also considered threat. Okay, so threat is one of the forces that hijack our attention. Another one is high demand or overwhelming work. And the third one is poor mood, because, you know, but not every day is always a happy, sunny day. Sometimes we wake up and our mood is really low. So I'm curious now, team, which of these forces normally or usually hijack your attention? If you were to choose one dominant, what would it be? What would it be? Is it threat, high demand, or poor mood? Okay, so let's see. Okay, thank you, thank you. Thank you, team. And guess what, team? What you are doing right now is actually already mindfulness. What you're doing right now is already attention training. Finding out how you look like when you're hijacked, what hijacks your attention, and what are the signs when your attention is hijacked. Okay, thank you, team. It looks like high demand is our popular answer here with some threats, and I see little. Okay, no one answered poor mood, which is great. Okay, and again, this is not, no, this is more of awareness for us. Okay, thank you. Now, let's look at this. I'm going to show you a graph, team, that explains why do our stress levels increase. So this is what we call the challenge skill ratio graph, team. So on the vertical axis is skill. On the topmost is you are the expert. On the bottommost, you do not have the skills yet. And then on the horizontal axis is challenge. On the leftmost, very easy. On the rightmost, very challenging. Okay. Batch one, tell me, where in the graph do you experience high stress? Okay. Where is high stress located in this graph? So make a guess now, team. Please type on chat. Looking at the graph now, where is high stress located? Okay. All right. Okay. So thank you. And thank you, Natanya, for being the first one to answer. And also Gab, second one. So team, when the challenge is high and we do not have the skills yet to meet the challenge, then that is where high stress is. Or that is what you call, that's hijack attention. Right? So hijack attention is wherein your emotions take over and dictate what you do. Now, there's also an opposite of that, team. This is what you call when you are the expert and it's no longer challenging. What do you call that, team? When you are the expert and it's no longer challenging, what do you call this point? The opposite point of hijack attention. Make a guess. So it is, yes, it is boredom or stagnation or another way that our attention breaks down, team. This is what you call autopilot or disconnected attention. Since you are already the expert, this is already regular to you, you're doing things by the motions. So you are not aware of what is going on in your surroundings. So what we are going to do today, team, for this 1 hour is we're going to focus on hijack attention. Yes, again, it's disconnected or divided attention also. Okay, so team, so let's do some attention training. And when it comes to MBAT or mindfulness-based attention training, there are 3 parts that we focus on. So these 3 parts are what we call the spotlight, the sensor, and the sage. Let's start with the spotlight, team. So the spotlight, this is the part of our brain, of our attention that we use to select information. So think of it like a beam or a flashlight. And that where the beam points, it becomes more striking and notable, and it can be focused on what you see inside or what you see outside. Now, what you were doing earlier, team, when you were checking out what hijacks your attention or what signs of attention, that is already activating your spotlight. So let's activate your spotlight a little further. So team, let's look at this. How does your body react when your attention is hijacked? Okay, so let's work on our sensor now. How does your body react when your attention is hijacked? Let me give you one. Me, when I get really angry, I usually shake. Okay, my hands usually shake. What about you, team? So when you so you fidget, thank you. Okay, yes, you sweat. Cold hands, keep it coming, team. Keep it coming. How do you know? How do you know that your attention is getting hijacked? Aside from the cold hands, the sweat, the fidgety, yes, fast heart rate. Okay, you're starting to panic. Yes, your head throbs. Okay, instant migraine. Keep it coming, team. What else? What else do you notice? Are there any muscle pains? How about your sleep? Does it affect your sleep? Okay. Also, how about your digestion? And maybe for some of you, do you eat more or do you eat less? Yeah, okay, so it affects appetite. Okay, so you eat more. Yes, you space out, you zone out. Okay, yes, you binge eating. Okay, thank you, team. So this is great. Yep, mental block. All right, so this is great, team, because yeah, forward thrust. Okay, so these are ways that we are activating the spotlight, finding out how we, and look at the response of other people. Find out also how other people react when their attention is hijacked. Now, the thing to figure out here, team, is this is not a nice to know list, but this is something that we are going to use now, what you typed here in the chat, that we're going to use now to practice our attention training. Now, the reason why our body reacts, team, is because there's a part of our brain that lights up when we are stressed or when we are hijacked. And we call that the amygdala. And I'm sure some of you are familiar with that. The amygdala is the part of our brain that lights up when we are stressed. And when we are stressed, we release an adrenaline called cortisol. Now, mind you, team, cortisol is not a bad adrenaline. Cortisol is an adrenaline that is helpful during times of danger. So let's say, for example, let's say a house is on fire. So syempre, that is a very stressful moment. So when the house is on fire, we release cortisol so that all our energy goes to our arms and our legs so that we can survive, so that we can rescue people, and that's how we can rescue things. And this is why you hear of these stories of, let's say, a grandmother picking up and carrying a refrigerator outside the house. How was she able to do that despite her age? It's really cortisol. Cortisol is a superpower during times of danger. However, team, because of threat, high demand, or poor mood, and what is going on in our environment, we are releasing cortisol in our bloodstream every day. And what you put here, mental block, migraine, eating more, or sweating, or head throbbing, this is a sign that your body is releasing cortisol. And too much cortisol in your bloodstream, batch 1, affects our arteries, thicken our arteries. And what do we hear about people with thick arteries? a lot of illnesses, cardiac arrest, hypertension, high blood pressure. It might lead to stroke. It might lead to cancer. A lot of illnesses related to thick arteries because of cortisol. So our goal here now is, okay, now that we know that if our heart is beating fast, there's some cortisol in my bloodstream, what can I do now? Again, this is part of our censoring. And one more thing, team, when we are also hijacked, we have what is called a dominant default hijack reaction. So I'm going to go through all three and tell me which one is your dominant. So when you are hijacked, batch one, are you a fight person? What does this mean? When you are triggered, your autopilot reaction is to confront, to attack, or to meet the person head on. Or are you like me? When you are hijacked, your autopilot reaction is flight, or avoid, or not showing up. So fight is attack, flight is avoid, or are you more like a freeze response? This is what I saw a mental block later on. Or do you, when there have hijack moments, you have a mental block. You forget what you are supposed to do, even if you are an expert on it. So which one of these are you, team? Are you more of a fight person, like me, a flight person, or a freeze person? So let's see now. Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, I noticed. Okay, it looks like I see freeze. Freeze, flight. Okay, looks like a good balance. Looks like a good balance of freeze, fight, and flights. And I'm sure we go through all three teams, but there's usually, well, yes, you're right, Angelica. We go through all three, but we usually have one dominant. Okay, Jelly, pause muna, then fine. Okay, so it's like you're getting momentum, and Angeline. Okay, and again, team, this is not to make us wrong. This is again signs for us to check in how we look like. Okay, so that is the sensor. That is the spotlight. Now let's look at also one more thing, team. Let's find out what emotions show up when your stress level is high. Okay, so team, choose a white card that completes the following statement. I know my stress levels are high when I feel ... Okay, go ahead, batch one. If you're to choose one white card, which one white card describes how you are when you're stressed? Okay, I see. Thank you, Adria. Anxious. Jamie also anxious. Okay, impatient for Lara. Overwhelmed, Chiki. Keep it coming, team. Okay, overwhelmed, anxious. Okay, impatient, restless. My answer here is if I feel embarrassed, usually that is when my stress levels are high. Okay, so I'll see uncomfortable, restless, impatient, uncertain. Okay, good, team. And again, this is our way just to find out how we look like. And the great thing about this team, there's self-awareness, our answers. But if you look at the answers of your colleagues here on the Zoom, this is awareness of others. We also get to find out how are other people when they are feeling high stress. Okay, so that is our spotlight. Now, the next part is our attention training team is sensor. Sensor, this is the one that scans the environment. This one is the one that knows the thoughts, emotions, and also it acts like a spider sense and an alarm system. So let's activate our sensors right now, team. Okay, so what situations, team, trigger your hijack attention? And this can be at work or at home. Because especially if you work from home, whatever happens at home already affects your work. So let's see, team. What situations usually trigger your hijack attention? Maybe I can start here. For me, paying the hospital bills of my senior parents because it's very expensive. Okay, so that's for me. What about you? What triggers you? What situation usually trigger your hijack attention? If it's overwhelming work, what kind of work overwhelms you? So just type it there in chat. Okay, yes. Okay, many unread emails. Yes, tight deadlines. Yes, unexpected urgent tasks. Keep it coming, team. So let's find out. Let's activate now your sensor. Okay, high expectations. Okay, not capable of doing, being under time pressure. Okay, financial concerns also. Okay, okay, children don't follow instructions. Yes, never-ending projects. Yes, how to balance work-life balance. Okay, thank you. These are a lot of responses. Keep it coming, team. I'm going to give you, we have 10 more seconds. Go ahead. Keep on. So if you already wrote, you can add more. Add more this because this is great data for you and for others. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for your honesty also, batch one. This is very helpful. Okay. So these are okay, multiple deadlines with 3 exclamation points. Yes, Elaine. Okay. All right. Team, we have our spotlight checking in. We have our sensors zooming out. We also have what is called a sage. What is a sage? This is the wise part of our brain. I'll even show you where it is in our brain later on. Okay? It helps us manage what we are doing moment to moment, and it also helps us stay on track our goals and matching it with the right behavior. So it keeps us on track if our attention breaks down. So this is the this is the one that we really need to work on so that it addresses whatever the spotlight or the sensor notices. Okay, team. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to show you a couple of sage responses. And I'd like you to select which of these have you practiced, and you can select all that apply recently in the past 7 days. Okay, so team, which of these sage responses did you practice in the last 7 days? Is it A, you have the capacity to see things through without losing your composure? Is it B, you listen mindfully and communicate professionally politely even when upset? Okay, is it C, you have the ability to separate emotion from logic when making decisions? Or is it D, you remain calm and collected during highly charged situations? And team, you can choose more than one. So select all that applies. So if you already answered earlier, but if you notice that you did more than one letter, please type all those letters that apply to you. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you for answers. Maybe I'd like to hear from some of our participants, team. So maybe I'd like to hear from Lara. Hi, Lara. Good afternoon. Lara Marie.
Yes, hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, yes, Lara, I see you chose A, B, and D.
And
Tell us more.
tell us more.
Mm.
Well, you should actually in my line of work, where deadlines are very tight, I've learned to, although I'm impatient sometimes, but I've realized that it's better for me if I'm patient, if I listen to where the other person is coming from, so I
Okay.
could understand, and then to listen first and then listen to what he has to say before I speak my side, my point of view. And then sometimes when and also sometimes there are times when I don't need to react.
Okay.
So that I won't spend too much energy and just focus on how to solve the problem.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Okay. And Lara, where are you from? Where are you working?
Bangko Sentral.
Oh, may SP also. Okay, Sarah. So I hear empathy, di ba? Putting yourself into the shoes, that works for you. And also I hear to help you listen instead of speak immediately, you take your time to pause.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
And when was the time you were you use that, Lara? When was the last time?
Last time, I think
Uh-huh.
few weeks. Just the other day.
Just the other day. Okay. And by using this empathy and also pausing instead of reacting, pausing to listen, how did you notice the other person responding to you, Lara?
The other person seems to he's she seems to become calmer, and then we, instead of focusing on the problem, we tend to focus on the solution, and eventually the
Uh-huh.
problem is solved.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Lara. So
Thank
if you look
you.
at the team, yeah, thank you for sharing. If you look at the team, usually because why do people sometimes, sometimes, but not all, why do people sometimes react? Because their attention is being hijacked. Now, what might happen is that if they're hijacked and if we react, then it becomes a bigger hijack. So this is the power of the sage. When we see someone hijack, then we have the power of the sage of, yeah, for example, for Lara, practice empathy, pausing to listen. And if when we choose the sage or when we choose to respond, there's a strong possibility that the other person who might be hijacked right now would respond also instead. Good. Thank you, Lara. I'd like to hear someone who, because Lara chose A, B, and D, maybe someone who wrote C. Okay, I'd like to hear from Adrian. Hi, Adrian. Adrian Ginta. Is Adrian there? I'd like to hear answer. You answered letter C. And if not, you might be AFK. Sige, I'll go back to you, Adrian. Maybe Nathaniel Guanson. Hi, Nathaniel.
Hi, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, Nathaniel, where are you from? Where are you working?
I'm from Seoul, Philippines.
Oh, Sea Oil. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, tell us more about, for you, letter C. How does that work for you, Nathaniel?
Yeah, I think it's natural for me because
Mhm.
I'm naturally a very logical person. So I have
Mhm.
emotions, but I tend to lean towards, um, I lean towards logic when there's problems. So it's the
Mhm.
same thing whenever I encounter problems and issues. So, yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. What do you do to make it easy for you to become logical, Nathaniel? Yeah, aside from it's natural for you, do you have like any techniques or go-to practices?
Yeah, when I get stressed, I tend to go outside, take a break from the situation, and
Mm-hmm.
take a breather. So basically,
Okay.
I take 5 minutes of breathing time,
Uh-huh.
get my emotions in check, and then go
Mm-hmm.
back to
Mm-hmm.
the problem and, solve it logically.
Okay, yeah. So take yourself outside of the situation, get a clear head, and then go back to it again. Correct,
Yeah.
Nathaniel?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. In fact, Nathaniel, I'm going to show you how that looks like in the brain in the moment. Thank you, Nathaniel. Okay, the team. Let's continue now. So we looked at the sensor, we looked at the spotlight, and then the sage. Now, here is where our tool comes in. One of the tools for mindfulness-based attention training. And let's start here, which is the myth about stress. So I'd like to ask now, team, what do you think is the myth about stress? Please type it there on chat. What is the myth about stress? Okay. All right. So Gab. Hello, Gab. Gab Castilla. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, so Gab, congratulations, you got the correct answer. Okay, so Gab, tell us more. What made you say stress is bad is a myth?
I guess, like you said earlier, there are reactions of the body reacts to stress in different ways, and oftentimes these reactions to stress can actually help us perform better, to
Mm-hmm.
perform to perform other tasks better. So yeah, and I guess sometimes stress could also be sort of like a motivator to like you
Yeah.
said earlier. There's like a
Mm-hmm.
to like since it's a high challenge, low skill kind of situation, could motivate you to gain more skills so that in the future could when you face the same challenges, it's not as daunting.
Yeah, perfect. And Gab, where are you from?
From COL as well.
CI also. Okay, good. So you are correct, Gab. So because not all stress is bad. In fact, team, there is what you call healthy levels of stress. So let's go to our another graph, team. So here's what we do. Huh? So yeah, so stress. So the myth is stress is bad. So yes, okay, so it's good, but good and bad stress. So if you look at the team, there's the Yerkes-Dodson curve. So this is from Dr. Luana Marquez in her book that came out during the pandemic called Almost Anxious. So very similar to the challenge skill ratio. So performance is on the vertical axis and then stress is on the horizontal axis. And you have disconnected attention over here, or autopilot moments. Now, the stress that we know, team, the stress that is universal, and by meaning universal, when you hear the word stress is always bad, is at this area. Notice, stress is high, we can still perform, and if we do not address it, notice, team, that our performance goes down. So the bad type of stress, batch 1, this is what you call hijack attention. So that's the bad type of stress. Wherein, because of it, we can still perform, but if not addressed, it will all go down. And if we do not address it in the long term, it will lead to burnout. And notice burnout. Whatever you do, it is hard to recover. Yet look at the bigger part of the curve, batch 1. As long as there is a moderate level of stress, performance increases. Now, maybe some of you already know this term, but for most of you, this might be a new term. So people of batch 1, welcome to the world of eustress. Okay, so what is eustress? Eustress is the healthy type of stress. Eustress is a stress that we enjoy. Eustress is a stress that allows, these are the challenges that bring us energy and motivates us. And the right mix of eustress, team, and right mix brings us to peak performance, which we call the flow state. And what is the flow state, team? Here's how it looks like. You notice when let me give you an example. Let's say you start work at 9 a.m. either work from home or at your desk in the office. So you start working, and then you notice that you're finding your flow, you're finding your momentum, and you notice as well that you are in your peak performance. So you keep on working. And how do you know in your flow? Because the moment that you look at the clock, wow, it's already 12 o'clock. You work 12 noon. You work nonstop for 3 hours. You never stood up to go to the bathroom, or you didn't get hungry. Time flew by so fast, and you at your creative or productive peak. So that is a sign of flow state. No concept of time. You forget your bio needs, and you are at your productive peak. And guess what, batch 1? The only way to get to the flow state is through stress, or eustress, the good type of stress. So I'm curious now, team. When was the last time you were in flow? Okay, so type. Was it yesterday? Was it last week? Was it this morning? So please type. When was the last time that you were in flow? Okay. So keep it coming. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, and as more response coming in, maybe I'd like to hear from Jamie. Jamie Rosales. Hi, Jamie. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Dad.
Yes, Jamie. Jamie, where are you from?
I'm from Jollibee.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Jamie. So tell us more about you being in flow yesterday.
Usually kasi I start working really early, like 6:30. Pero I got into the flow of things at around mga 10 na. So mga 10 till a little before lunch. Ganun yung
Okay.
parang lang, sobrang hyper-focused ka lang.
Yeah,
Tapos
yeah.
get everything, and then the next thing you know, time already passed by. Akala mo 30 minutes ka lang nakaupo. Ayun.
Yeah. And how was your energy level when you were in flow, Jamie?
The energy level was pretty steady. Yung parang ano lang siya, hindi ka pagod,
Yeah.
pero your mind just keeps on doing productive stuff. So
Yep. Yep. And how did you end your day yesterday, Jamie?
well, I ended my day quite happily kasi I
Okay.
medyo na ako umuwi,
Mhm.
hindi ako pagod.
Yes,
Yes.
because I'm sure it was a day of achievement, Jamie.
Yes, it was. It was very productive.
Okay, yes. Thank you, Jamie. Jolly afternoon to you.
Sorry, afternoon then. Boss.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Oh, today for Evangeline. Evangeline, hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, sir. Yes,
Yes,
today.
where are you from, Evangeline?
Bangko Sentral, Rojas branch.
BSP. Yes. Okay, tell us more about being in flow today, Evangeline.
Actually, this is already a hell big because I have to juggle my responsibility as a mom, you know, having their first
Mhm.
quarter exam in my child,
Yeah.
and I have to wake up too early. Even though I've got a lot of things to do today and even yet last night. So the only thing for me is to achieve. There's some sense of goal today that once I would achieve this, then maybe I can move on to another deliverables until I get another one until I found out I'm in a 19.5 intermittent fasting already.
Okay. Yeah.
So 19.5, I had my lunch at around 1 p.m. And
Okay.
that is above, my goal of 16 hours intermittent fasting and having to finish a lot of priorities and urgent matters in the office. And now I'm definitely ending this day beautifully because I am
Nice.
with the user and the rest of the virtually sounding here in your Zoom training. So I think that's one thing which I can tell myself I am on track and flowing beautifully.
Yeah, you were able to do. I noticed that you started with a lot of high demands, but you were able to juggle it, and you were still able to join us today. So thank you for joining us, Evangeline.
Yes.
And I noticed also, from your voice, that there's a lot of positivity and optimism. Am I correct on saying that?
Yes, I'm happy because I was able to achieve so many things in spite of the stress, those stress related, like, especially when it comes to people,
Yep.
being in operation support, the admin, so you deal more with people. So I think more than the job and no matter how the volume of job will be given, but when it comes to people, I think that's a very complicated way of, balancing your day, having
Yep.
to relate yourself to
Mhm,
whatever
mhm.
problems they be related or
Yes.
not to do work, but you have to because that's part of your job. So I think
Correct.
making it through this day is really an achievement for now.
Yeah, and it's nice to hear that you're going to end your day on a high note today. So thank you, Evangeline.
Yes,
Salamat.
yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, and thank you. So if you notice, Steve, that you can access the flow state, and it's usually stress, but the good type of stress that gets you to the flow state. And yes, you're also correct. Ada, it is not hard to achieve. It is something that you have to work on. And that is also the true thing about mindfulness team. Now that we're more aware, then what can we do to access that? And it usually creates, needs more, more to be vigilant so that we can access more of our eustress. And I like this, Ada can do 3 days in 1 day. Okay, salamat. All right. So if you already, when it comes to eustress, it brings you to flow. An increase in stress is an increase in performance of tasks. And this is where it's different now, team. Because when we are hijacked, the part of our brain that lights up is our amygdala. So we release cortisol, we fight, flight, or freeze. But when we are in eustress team, this is the one that lights up. It's in our forehead. This is what we call our PFC, or prefrontal cortex. So when we are in flow, this lights up. So we are more focused, we're more creative, we solve problems. And this is the part of our brain that lights up when we are relaxed and calm. And if we go back to the share of Nathaniel earlier, what was his way to become more logical, to handle the emotions, is to stand up and clear his head. This is how it looks like, team. Because when we are hijacked, emotions are high, amygdala is high. But when we take a time to pause and just get away of the situation, give ourselves some distance, we allow the amygdala to quiet down its volume so that the volume of our prefrontal cortex lights up. And this is when we have cooler heads, clearer heads, logical heads. And it's mutually exclusive, team. When the amygdala lights up, the prefrontal cortex goes to sleep. That's why we're more emotional. But when the prefrontal cortex lights up, the amygdala goes to sleep. That is why we become more logical. And it is eustress that lights this up, while it's hijack that lights up the amygdala. So here's what we'll do, team. I'd like you, if earlier we chose a white card that shows that our stress levels are increasing, I'd like you to choose a black card that completes the following statement. Okay, so team, now that we know what eustress is, please choose a black card. I know I am in eustress when I feel blank. Okay, so team, please choose a black card that best describes you when you are in eustress. So me, I would say always energize. Okay, and Jamie's joy. Okay, Christopher, attentive. Keep it coming. Evangeline, inspired. Okay, energize. Jeline, thoughtful. Okay, yep. Nice. Yes, keep it coming. Aha, and as more responses coming. Ayan, Ada. Sige, Ada. Hi, Ada. Nice to see you again.
Hi, Dax!
Okay. Great to see you. On for you. Sige, I'll make an exception. On naman ang camera. Ada.
OMG, hindi
Can
ako ready.
Sige, okay lang. Sige, okay lang. Okay. Just tell me enough that your black card is inspired when you are in eustress. Tell us more, Ada.
Yes, when I'm in eustress, inspired, kasi I'm more into creative projects in terms of like coming up with programs, creating posters. Ayan, mas marami akong nagagawa when I'm in eustress compared to when I force myself to do it.
Yep. Yeah, and it comes it becomes parang it becomes exponential, right? Tama ba? Your feelings of being inspired.
Yes, like for example, I'm trying to come up with something for the last 3 days and hindi ko siya magawa. And then when I'm in eustress, I can do it in 2 to 3 hours.
Yep. Okay. And I'm sure you still have more energy for the rest of the day, Ada.
Yes, and I'm inspired to do more.
Okay. Yeah.
After what's expected from me.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Ada, and I hope to see you soon, huh?
Yes. Oo nga. See you soon.
See you. Thank you. And I'd like to hear from like me, si Annabelle. Annabelle is energized too. Hi, Annabelle. Good afternoon. Are you there? Annabelle Amantilio. If not, all good. We can go back to you later. I can go to Ruth. Hi, Ruth. Good afternoon. Ruth Agdan. Yes, just checking. There's sometimes team, but the mic doesn't work. Sige, that's all right, Ruth. Baka the mic is not working. Maybe one yes, it's all good, Ruth. No worries. Maybe one more. Sina. Si John Paul Sanglay. Hi, John Paul. You said courageous. Tell us more.
Hello po. Good afternoon. Usually po, I feel the flow kapag ano po to? Yung stress muna po na yung nagpapa-negative for me would be kapag takot po ako gawin yung isang task. So, if na more or less na overcome ko po yung fear na yon, nafe-feel ko na po yung courageous, kahit hindi ko po alam yung outcome ng gagawin ko po, as long as I have overcome that, nasa flow na po ako.
Oh, interesting. Nice. And John Paul, where are you from?
I'm from BSP din po, sir.
BSP also, okay. And when was the time that you felt this, John Paul?
Kanina po.
Sige. Okay lang, you tell us more. Kahit yung big picture lang. How was it like?
Sige po. So, I was involved in a certain task na hindi pa po ako, bago pa lang po din kasi ako sa work. So, hindi ko rin po sure yung gagawin. And when nakita ko po na kaya ko siyang gawin, yung certain task po na yon, and wala na po yung fear sa akin. Kahit magkamali po ako, okay lang as long as I know na magagawa ko po siya. So, I felt courageous na and dun po, tuloy-tuloy na nasa flow na po ako.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, John Paul. And good for you. Good for you. Salamat.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. All right. So team, so let's look at this, so we know how we look like or how we feel like when we are hijacked, which is the white card. And then we also know how we look like or feel like when we are in eustress, which is the black card. So I'm curious, team. Kanina, we found out what were the things that trigger your white cards or your hijack. I'm curious now, team. Please type on chat. What tasks at work activate your eustress? So, guys, so just type there on chat. What are those tasks at work that activate your eustress? Yes, taking things off of your checklist. Okay, +1 also there, Jeline. Right? What else, team? What other tasks at work that if you do this, it activates your eustress? And maybe I'll tell you now for me, and Ada knows this. It's this, doing virtual workshops or leading workshops also face-to-face, activate my eustress. Public speaking, facilitating meetings, activates my eustress. What about you? What about the rest? What else? Else at work activates your eustress? And this is a great thing, team, because what you're finding out, okay, these are things that hijack me, but these are the things that get me going. Ayan, so doing projects, organizing, planning events. Okay, yes, meeting deadlines. Keep it coming, team. What else? Tasks that you're really interested and passionate about. Okay, feedback also from others, planning tasks. Okay, we're the same. Alexandra, conducting a training. Okay, facilitate program. Awi. Okay, can I hear from you, Awi? Hi, Awi. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Awi. Where are you from, Awi?
I'm also from Sea Oil, Philippines.
Sea Oil. Okay, tell us more. Sige. You're a fellow facilitator pala. How does that bring you to eustress?
Yes, I guess despite the nervousness at the start of any facilitation, right? When you're able to successfully complete and deliver a program and your participants are happy and they come to you and say, thank you, we've learned a lot. I think that produces so much satisfaction.
Yeah,
and
it's
eustress.
yeah, parang it makes it all worth it, Awi, na parang after,
Yes.
parang just a thank you, or parang I learned a lot, then they shake your hand after. It's parang it's a big celebration for us,
Yes, especially if you were the one who designed the program and you started from scratch, no, and you were able to deliver that, and people are
Correct.
appreciative of your efforts.
Yeah, I agree. That's like a big validation for us, Awi. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so team, just be mindful of the time because we've been in flow, team. I've been in flow because it's almost 1 hour now. So we've been in flow. We're going to be ending in about 3 minutes. So what we will do, team, so what are we doing? The mindfulness technique that we are doing in mindfulness-based attention is what we call reframing. See it from a different lens. And what have we've been reframing in the past hour, batch 1? We've been reframing stress. And that's what mindfulness-based attention is. Because most people see stress as something that is more as harmful for us, brings us down, saps us energy. So reframe it. Look for your eustress. What are those things that is also stress but activates you? And another interesting thing, team, is if you look at it, one person's hijack might be another person's eustress. So think about that. Think about what is getting into a hijack now, and what can you do just by activating your sensor, your spotlight, and your sage to reframe it into something that works for you, that is eustress. So before I give the floor to Ali, just type on the chat team, choose the hashtag that best describes your feelings about the session, and you can choose all that apply. Is it a hashtag aha moment if you discovered something new? Is it a hashtag validation if it confirms what you know? Or is it hashtag useful if you can apply it immediately, and you can select all the hashtags that apply? All right, thank you everyone. Okay, looks like it was so thank you for coming. Before I give the floor to Ali in our last minute, always a pleasure leading facilitation for Contiga and Treno Cape, and thank you for coming, for joining us here. So the floor is yours. Back to you, Ali.
So again, we'd like to thank every one of you who joined us this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us for this 1 hour. Thank you for giving us 1 hour of your time today. We truly appreciate it, and we know a lot of you guys are really interested in this topic. So, yeah. Yes, if you're interested to know more about this topic and other related topics about tackling mindfulness, mental wellness, especially at work, actually at Quintigal, we do have a list of programs that we created with Sir Dax himself, our mindfulness expert. We do have avoiding burnout, mindful leadership, mental wellness check, managing the critical inner voice, growth mindset, and wellness at work, and many other programs that we have in store for you. We can customize it based on your needs, for your organization's needs. And yeah, also, again, if you loved what you learned here, you can continue your learning journey with us through our suite of solutions. You know, it's more than just the mental wellness. We also have training solutions for your leadership, management, and other topics up on our arsenal. So you may register now via our website. So it's www.contigirl.com, or you can send us an email via solution@contigirl.com. Also, our other channels are included there on the screen. If you'd like to reach us on Facebook, also we're there. It's Quintigal Asia. On LinkedIn as well, Quintigal Philippines and Quintigal Singapore. So again, lastly, we would like to hear your feedback, of course. You can scan the QR code, tell us what you liked about this event, what could be improved, what other topics that you'd like to have for the next webinars in the coming months. So we would really love to hear from you guys. Again, thank you so much. And my colleague Jessica will be putting up in the chat box the link to the evaluation as well. Again, thank you so much, and have a great afternoon, everyone. Thank you.